Hey Blender users, I have a quick geometry nodes tip for you today. We already have the ability to track individual objects using object constraints, but I want to be able to track instances within a geometry node to any object I want. This has many uses: arrows pointing at a target, tree cards always pointing towards the camera, 1,000 hands reaching out for a banana. There are more than those three, I hope. So to get started, I already have my instance object created. Add in the geometry you'll be instancing to. Add a new geometry nodes tree. Add in a point instance and a point distribute node. I'm adding in a point scale node. Leaving it on vector controls the individual axes, and setting it to float will control them all at once. I'm adding my target, which will be an empty, but this could be any object. In between the point scale and point instance is where the magic will be taking place. Add in an object info node, select your target, and set it to relative. This is a crucial step. Next, attribute vector math node. Make sure it's attribute vector math and not just attribute math. Set it to subtract, and then A is going to be position. Position here means the position of individual instances. B needs to be set to vector, and plug our target location into B. The result will be a new attribute called track. We just created this attribute and we defined it as A, the position of our points, subtracted by B, the location of our target, equals the result, which is the attribute track. Now add in an align rotation to vector. Change the vector to attribute and use our new attribute called track. Now it's tracking. This is the core of this node setup, but now we want to be able to define the rotation of the points. You can do that by changing these parameters, but you might find it's backwards and this node doesn't have negative directions, sadly. We will fix that, but first just duplicate this node and change the pivot point axis. I don't recommend auto, it's very hard to control. Okay, let's get the arrows pointing right. After the rotate to vector nodes, add an attribute vector math node and set to add. A is rotation, B is a vector, and the result is rotation. Now we have finer control over the direction of the arrows. But this is just a number and it's not very intuitive. I would prefer to work with degrees. If you type the number for pi in here, you will see it equals 180 degrees. And if you times pi by 2, it's 360 degrees, or one full rotation. Add in a regular math node and set it to divide. Add the number for pi in it and times it by 2. Now, if we divide that number by 360, the result will be 1 degree. So you can visualize it as one tick on a circle out of 360 ticks. So duplicate the math node and set this one to multiply. This second value now lets you set the degrees or how many ticks on that circle you want the points to rotate. Add in a combine XYZ because our result is a float number when we need it to be a vector. And whatever axis you plug this into will control that axis rotation. I'm only going to control these two, so 180 should flip the points. There we go, it's working nicely now. To further explain this, the number coming out of this first math node isn't 1, it's 0.017. So that's the number that is being sent from this first math node into this second one here. If I want further control of each axis, I need to duplicate the multiply node and set that value to the y-axis, for example. Finally, you can connect those multiple math node values into the group input and rename them. That way, you no longer need to open the geometry node tree to adjust the settings. They will be tucked away in the modifiers tab. And that's all you need to set up a track to target geometry node tree. Geometry nodes is a new feature in Blender and it's still in development, so I'm going to be posting these sporadically as I figure out new use cases for them. I hope you like this. Please like and subscribe for more.